Welcome to our LLED 201 review video for writing your research plan. So we're going to go through writing your research plan for our hydroponics experiment based on our 5 stages. So let's start with stage 1. So in stage 1, you want to cover your background. This includes identifying your research domain. Your research domain or your field might be something like the field of ecology or biology, maybe a different science like land and food systems. You can use this research domain or this field as your participant, something like traditionally ecology has or biology is often interested in, and that way you're using your research domain as a participant and maybe your theme. We're going to look at your specific research topic. So our topic is hydroponics. So here's a picture of our hydroponics tank. We want to make sure we're citing at least 2 academic sources from our Canvas list. So you'll need to reference source 1 and source 2 that you pick from that list on Canvas. You'll want to make sure you're writing this from more general to more specific. So in stage 1, you can use your references from those 2 sources as an in-text citation at the end of the sentence, or you can use it as a participant. You can use the last name and date at the beginning of your sentence. You can even use it as a circumstance, doing something like according to last name and date, and then continue with your paraphrase or summary. We want to make sure we're using abstract science words at the beginning of our sentences. So I would expect to see words like food production, experiments, hydroponics, nutrients, growing media, agriculture, horticulture. But we don't want to start our sentences with people. So we're not writing about people, we're writing about hydroponics. Moving on to stage 2. In stage 2, we're going to identify the knowledge gap in your research question. So the knowledge gap is what we don't know. So what we don't know in this experiment is whether the plants are going to grow better if we start them in a coconut base or if we start them in our rock wool. So our research question is basically which one is going to produce a better yield for plants. So moving on to stage 3, how are we going to find out? How are we going to fill this gap? So this is where we'll go through. We're going to plant 20 Kamatsuna plants. They'll be grown under the same conditions. Our independent variables are our 2 types of growing media. So our coconut starter or our rock wool starter. And then we're going to measure the dependent variable, so the total plant yield. And we'll measure that in grams and centimeters for the plants started in coconut, and then for the plants started in our rock wool. That moves on to stage 4. So in stage 4, we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to evaluate the plan, including restating our purpose, stating a hypothesis if you want to, which is a guess, going over your limitations and the value of the research. Some of our limitations might be things like our COVID restrictions, and we're doing this experiment through video under home conditions, but still have a great value to the research. Our last part will be our references. Remember that the references are in APA style on Canvas, so you want to pick out the sources that you use and keep them in alphabetical order, so A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And then we're going to plant our plants, see how they do in each one of our starting media, and happy researching.